Assalamu alaikum. My name is Afifa Adil and I am a student of fourth year pharmacy. My topic is balance beam, which comes under the heading of gross behavior. Uh, First, we will discuss the balance beam test. ठीक है? Basically, the thing is what that we are testing it for the rodents and mice. And this test is necessary so we can assess whether there is a brain injury or there are any genetic manipulations or pharmacological issues of a mice or a brain or rodent. Uh, if there is alteration, it also affects the motor skills of the mice, and this test will tell us that whether there is any problem with the mice or not. First, we will start with the protocol. The protocol is the lab method. There is an apparatus, usually a beam apparatus is used, in which there are two planks. One is one plank, between two blanks is a rod is there, or you can say a plank is there between the two rods on which the mouse starts working. The beam apparatus, you can see, as consists of 1 meter beam with a flat surface of 12 millimeter or 6 millimeter width, resting 50 centimeter above the tabletops on two boards. Black box is also placed at the end of the beam as a finish point, where which is also called as the nesting material, or the place through which the mice needs to reach. The performance on the beam is quantified by measuring the time it takes for the mouse to traverse the beam and the number of pause slips that occur in this process. We usually see that how smoothly the mice is walking towards the second platform, and how much time does it slips, like how much time it is used, it is taking, if it is taking more time, or or whether it's pause slipping or not. Here the mice that they used was the C57BL6 mice. After the lab method, we will see basically the mice. There are two groups, we take two groups. One is the control and one is the test in this uh, experiment. And basically the mice which is taken as the test mice, they are also prior to the main experiment, they are also put on training. And on training days, we also see the protocol in the training days. On training days, each mouse crosses the 12 millimeter beam 3 times and the 6 millimeter beam 3 times. Mice are placed at one end of a beam, and the time required to cross to the escape box at the other end is measured by the motion detectors. Basically, we will place some detectors which tell us that how much time the mice is taking, and we also start a timer so we can measure the time at what interval does the mice reaches to the other platform. Mice typically crosses the beam with a minimal amount of stopping or stalling. Once the mice are in the safe box, they are allowed to rest basically for 15 to 60 seconds, so that they can be so that we can carry out the next experiment. Okay, now we have the test day. On the test day, the times to cross each beam are recorded. Two successful trials in which the mouse did not stall on the beam are averaged. On the test day we see that how much the time the mice is taking to reach to the second platform, and did its pause slip or not. So for final analysis, we can use a video recording, because sometimes there can be human error in analyzing the mouse. By the number of pause slips, we can measure that how much it is it deficient in its motor activity. Here it is the result for the article that I followed. The average times for crossing the 12 millimeter beam were 4.6, 0.4 second for males and 0.3 second for females. Discussion. We'll move on to the discussion. Performance on the balance beam is a usual measure of the fine coordination and balance, and has been validated. This is a validated method, and it basically helps us to measure the coordination and the balance of the rodent. The beam test can detect motor deficit due to age, central nervous system lesions, and genetic and pharmacological manipulation in the younger and the older rodents. Mice with cortical impact lesions often exhibit collateral slipping on the beam. There are few slips and no falls by these mice on the beams in genetically or pharmacologically manipulated animals. The slips and falls may become more frequent and can be quantified. Oh, basically the discussion that we are having here is that the impairs, if the mice is impaired in their cognition and if they're impaired in the coordination, so basically it would slip more, and the number of cross slips and the number of time to increase the platform will also increase. The level of activity may differ depending on the age and the strain of the mice. Obviously, if we are looking at the age, the mice which have been older can take more time to cross the platform, and the mice which are newer or which are newly born, you can say, that are much more active and can easily cross the platform. If motor deficits are found, other tests including the footprint analysis of locomotor gait, mesh climbing, swimming, pole climbing, and staircase tests can be used to further assess the deficits. If we do find that the number of paw slips are more than the, you can say, the control one, if there, if we are having the much more variation in the result, so we can also test the similar mouse, same mouse, for other tests also. Basically the balance beam method was a older method, or was the most initial method which is used. The newer method which I found was the rotor rod method. This test, it has an advantage that this test usually gives an accurate assessment of balance, control, and posture, and it also basically tells us uh, about the, you can say, it also tells us about the anxiety of the mouse also. This test gives an accurate assessment of balance, control, posture using sensitive measure, number of falls, imbalances, position of tail trunk. It is also called as rotor rod test. Basically in this the article which I followed, they took two inbred strains of mice and then they performed the experiment on that. uh, Efficient control of posture and locomotion in space depends on the interaction of three sensory systems: the visual, vestibular, and somatosensory. The protocol they took, that they took 2 month old mice of C and B6 strains. They were housed in the same conditions, same water was given, and same conditions were given to them, same light, basically. And then the discussion we are following here, the test was conducted a number of days. Animal had to move along a rotating beam trying to cross without falling. Basically the rotor rod test is what, here you can see that rotor rod test, this thing is rotating, and this you can say, this pole is rotating and the mice prevents itself from falling down. And when the mice falls down, then usually the timer also stops, because a laser, or you can say a sensor, is attached here. So if the mice falls down, the timer also stops. The test was conducted a number of days, uh, and we concluded that the challenges to the visual, vestibular, and somatic sensory system was used to make an accurate assessment of the consequences on both the balance and the animal posture. Here we are also seeing the animal posture. The mice treated with diazepam were more interactive and tried to balance them. We also took a control group and a treated group here. So the disadvantages of the rotor rod tests are what? Rotor rod test of motor coordination sedation is commonly used to predict clinical sedation. Basically, rotor rod test is used for determining the sedation, but it lacks the desired degree of sensitivity to be predictive of effects in humans. Basically, this method is a less sensitive method than the balance beam method. For example, we saw here in one of the article, or found out that they were basically compare there had been a comparison between the balance beam method and the rotor rod method. The diazepam and lorazepam significantly impaired rotor rod performance, although relatively high GABA receptor occupancy was required. So basically इन्होंने जो है वो दो कंट्रोल और एक टेस्ट ग्रुप लिया था, एंड दे administered them diazepam and lorazepam, and berotezinil also. So we saw that the result that outcome of the experiment was that the mouse beam walking assay was a more sensitive tool for determining the benzodiazepine induced motor coordination than the rotor rod, because the rotor rod, like if the diazepam was given to a mice, and in the rotor rod it basically it passed the test, or you can say the mean value which we had given it, basically passed the test, and we saw that the mice had no sedation. But when we compared that in humans, so the humans were having sedation. So basically the rotor rod test is not sensitive, the beam balance beam test is more sensitive. Advantages are what the present study was set up for purpose of finding new rodent model designed to assess the effects on anxiety and balance control. Like I told that in rotarod method, we are looking in both the anxiety and the balance control caused by challenging the vestibular, visual, and somatic sensory systems. This method was used to make an accurate assessment of the consequences on both balance control and animal posture. Here we are checking also the posture of the animal, like if the animal is giving a good posture or not, or if it tries to balance itself on the rotor road pole or not. But the balance beam test, here there is no the platform is straight, and we count on the number of slips. These are the references which I quoted. Thank you.